If there were a title, this would be called Just Checking. Do we not want a deep state? Don't many of us want a theocratic monoculture? Be aware, a Harvard class full of atheists is a theocratic monoculture. A legal system that changes hue entirely when you are rich is a deep state oasis. A culture that swears it is a vibrant democracy that generates wealth and equality that would make Midas murmur did not happen by way of legislation, needs a deep state to mythologize it. A culture that swears it is exceptional needs full-time propagandists to neatly divert the overwhelming evidence to the contrary. If the government, quote, is enthralled to corporations, what are we? Not enthralled to corporations? Are we all brave mavericks refusing big paychecks not related to what we produce at all, but the number of people under us in the workplace? How democratic would a real democracy be in a culture that fetishizes distrust of government? Skepticism, okay, even dissent, though the flies collect when one suggests that Genocide Joe has crossed a messianic red line. We should be very clear what he means when he says he will always back Israel, because they are always less wrong than the opposition, superior to them. That is his version of the United States. We are all one happy family. No matter how much they kill, they are more right. Total application. It is a gross reciprocal virtue signaling to one member audience on high. Only 19% of wealth is compensation for the deeds performed that we call work. The wealthier you get, the slimmer the percentage. And isn't talking on the phone in air conditioning a kind of work that looks a lot like no, not really? Still, it is the apex aspiration of most of us, the measure of success, the Bitcoin of life, the occupation of kings. Well, really, one must, to which we all aspire. Enough is never enough in this emptiness. If it were, most of these problems would evaporate. It is not in our czars, C-Z-A-R-S, dear Brutus, but in ourselves that we are underlings. All the discourse around me is a clamor of who's good, who's bad. Like we are either or. It's so silly, boring, and untruthful, and Victorian. Try this. Both sides in Palestine are right. Both are that weak, like humans do. Try this. Without American money and bombs, Ukraine would be another thing today. Israel too. You can decide if they'd be worse off. I'm not really sure. These are U.S. wars because without the U.S. they'd not be fought. Other arrangements would have been made by peoples very qualified to make those arrangements. And the reason the U.S. pays is we let them. We USians like feeling godly, shiny. The question is obviously why. What culture sources that rather pathetic need? The baton was passed sheepishly from Europe, where claims of helping the faraway lands like India were only made hastily in hindsight and to a needy audience. Oh, tell me I am good. Please tell me I am good. I need to be good. Even a Churchill could say that the only person getting rich off Kenya in the 1950s was Mr. Gatling and his gun. The rest of the world really has suffered for this. And God, it don't get more deep state than Yahweh. Combine profit and godliness, oh heaven. In America, they are married and remain married miserably, or only 1%. The husband is happy, and see how concerned the richest of the rich are about being virtuous. Why, they even buy newspapers and social media platforms, and we do not even demur. Did the founders have no qualms on this point? First Amendment, my ass. I think they'd have outbid Elon is all. Listening to Piers Morgan is a strange kind of fun. That Top Gun maverick, that toothpaste tube of badly written macho cliches was his fave of 2023, says enough, if not all. Yesterday I heard his interview with Jeffrey Sachs. Surely, it's hard to believe you don't have anything negative to say about Hamas or Putin, Piers pontifies. Really, like all real men know, the world is made of good guys and bad guys. Our only duty is to know who is who. When it goes wrong, it is the bad guy that did it, says this flag-waving citizen of one of the worst offenders of history. I have noticed, nay, I do bear a brain, that the most vehement condemners of the human animals come from this club. Psychology, my dears. It is good that Piers is out there, a famous mouthpiece for whom history began when he said it did, who loves Top Guns. He should Google Tarantino's take and blush, and for whom stupidity is the absolute to which all men should aspire. Rule Britannia.